Paramtattvai Naranay Gurubhyo Namaha. Jai Gurudev. So the previous lectures, we have been singing the glories of the Panchmukhi form of Hanuman. Again, this is a slightly variation of the regular, the Hanuman Swarup that we usually worship at our homes and temples. This one is the Panchmukhi with Hanuman having five faces, each facing a different direction, each face having a different action, a different kriya, and a little more ugra form of Hanuman as opposed to the normal form of Hanuman that we see in temples. We have been drawing parallels between Hanuman and Kal Bhairav. Again, both Swarupas of Lord Shiva himself. Both are Shiva, and both are Rudra avatar, both a little Rudra form of Shiva. Again, they're mostly for destroying our enemies, for keeping our enemies at bay, for Bhai Vinashak, for removing all the fears that we have, for removing all the insecurities that we have. But beyond that, they're also fully capable of giving us bhog as well as moksha, all the material comforts, all the material wealth, all the usual, normal wishes that one really aspires for. And they give us knowledge, they give us gyan, they give us vairagya, they give us moksha, they give us bhog, everything that one human life could really wish for. Both Hanuman or Bhairav are fully capable of bestowing upon us. So today we'll move on to, we talked in the previous lectures about the different directions. So far, we have talked about east, west, north, south. But now we'll talk about the different ayudhas. Ayudhas are nothing but the weapons that Lord Hanuman carries. In this case, I think it's very rare to find temples where Hanuman is seen carrying such kind of weapons, but I'll definitely put light on this today. Along with Hanuman, Bhairav also carries similar weapon. Now, when you see a normal picture of Bhairav, you will see like a skull, where I explained that Bhairav had cut Brahma's head and then he traveled around the world, and you can go back to the lectures. Or you will see him carrying a danda, like a rod, where he's called as a dandapani, so he delivers justice, and he attacks or he kills evil people and all that, right? But here we'll talk about there's different forms of Bhairav as well, especially Ashta Bhairav, the 8 forms of Bhairav, where Bhairav is also carrying different kind of weapons. Now let's talk about Hanuman first. So the weapons here that we're talking about is Khadga Trishulam Khadvanga Pash Ankusha Parvatam Yantam Kamandalum. Khadga is similar to what Ma Kali carries. Khadga is like a sword, you can call it. Usually when you see Ma Kali's photo, she's carrying like a crescent kind of a shaped khadga. So here in this case, Hanuman also is carrying a khadga. Khadga is the sword that cuts off the ignorance, that cuts off our false identity that we have, that really is immediately cut us off from the material Maya Shakti that has really gripped us all, and really takes us to the higher goals of life, which is really nothing but self-realization. So Hanuman is carrying here Khadga, Trishul. He's a form of Shiva. Hanuman, it's very rare to find, to be honest, Hanuman in these kind of Swarupas or in these kind of weapons. So he also carries a Trishul. He also carries a Khatvang, again, another weapon, and Pash Ankusha Parvatam. So what is a Pash? Pash, now you must have heard of Pashupati Nath. You must have heard, and Pash is something that is represented with many deities. There are several deities that when you read about them and you see their Swarup, they are carrying a Pash. It can be a rope. You will see a symbol. If you look at Navadurga, the 9 forms of Durga also, they are carrying similar weapons. A Pash, they could be carrying a Kamandalu, which is really a small pot. And a lot of Devi Swarup, if you read or if you see Durga Swarup and all, you will see that even when Durga appeared, right, Mahishasur, Mardini, that whole battle happened when she was given weapons and everything. You will see that a lot of these weapons is what Durga was carrying as well. So Pash is represented by a rope. Rope in this case, in a literal meaning in our context, it really indicates the Pash. Pash is nothing but a bondage. All the bondages. We are Pashus. We are animals. We are driven with animal instincts, and we are held in bondages, right? A Pashu or an animal is very much of a, they are driven by instincts. correct? And similar to human forms, even though we have been given the power of discrimination, we have been given the human body, which is really the greatest form of all living beings, the greatest body that even the devatas aspire for is the human body. But in spite of having this greatest tool, this greatest instrument that we have, we are still riddled with, or we are still gripped with the pashas, with the bondages of the Maya Shakti of the creation, of the material creation. We are so bonded by all the external, all these distractions, everything that we see. We say that um, Maya in general terms, right? So all of that is really a blocker or an impediment from us achieving the higher goals of life is a pasha. And because we are in this whole pasha, we are driven by these pashas, we are engulfed in these pashas, we are called as Pashu. And Pashupati is the one who is the Lord of Pashu, who is the one who is able to deliver all these Pashus from the pashas is Pashupatinath, which is Shiva. There's a famous Pashupatinath temple in Nepal. So in this case, Hanuman is also carrying a pasha. It only indicates that he is the one who is capable of liberating us from all these bondages of material life that we have, all these bondages of false identity, this identity of I, the biggest bondage, that we really do not understand who we are, and we have completely forgotten our true identity of where we have come from, who we are, who we belong to, and really have associated ourselves with a very, very small subset of attributes and identity. And all this is pasha, and all these are blockers towards achieving the higher goals of life. So in this case, Lord Hanuman delivers us from the pashas, from the bondages, liberates us, gives us moksha. And then he talks about Ankush. Ankush is, if you look at animals like an elephant, right? The person who is riding the elephant, they usually carry like a small hook. It is meant to control a wild elephant. Otherwise, the elephant can run astray. The elephant can run in several other directions. So the person who is riding an elephant is carrying this little kind of a hook kind of a thing, and it is the one which is really controlling this elephant, right? Hey, you need to be in this direction, you need to walk in this direction. Like I explained, although we have a human body, we are really pashus because we are so distracted. All our sense organs, all our indriyas, all our dasindriyas, the karmendriyas, the gyanendriyas, everything is so outwardly, so much all over the place, so distracted with all the external factors that we see in life that we have very little time to think about God. And really, to be honest, only when we are in problems or when we are in extreme dire need of something big help, like we need some superhuman powers to happen in our life, is that's when we really look for God. But in reality, we should be looking for God, and everything else will be taken care of anyway. But that never happens because we are literally like a wild elephant running through the forest. So wild in our actions, wild in our thoughts. Our thoughts can run completely wild within a few seconds. If you try to meditate, you cannot, I mean, a lot of us know this. When we sit for meditation is when our mind completely runs wild. It is very hard. And that's the power that Lord Hanuman has, because he's the one who is carrying an ankush. He's the one who is carrying that hook, who can really control you and really keep you to the core of Lord's feet, or the meditation or your sadhana. So your mind doesn't run amok, your mind doesn't run wild, your indriyas, your sense organs, your actions, everything is controlled or can be controlled with the help of Lord Hanuman. So in this case, what we are seeing is Khadga with his sword. He can easily cut off our delusion, our ignorance. He can easily liberate us from past, from the bondages that we have, and can, with the help of his ankush, he can really keep a check on our indriyas, on our organs, on our mind, thoughts, emotions, on our actions, everything. So we remain focused. We remain focused in terms of the goals that we have in our life. We remain focused in our sadhana path. We remain focused in our sadhana, tapasya, meditation, anything that you're doing to to really achieve the higher goals in life. Otherwise, we are nothing but like pashus, literally running like a wild elephant. And what we need is somebody on top who is controlling and who is keeping a check on our senses. When we talk about Kal Bhairav, even in Kal Bhairav, now there are different swaroop of Kal Bhairav, but if you watch the Kal Bhairav Ashtakam series, I talked about Kal Bhairav, very basic forms, right? He's a Dandapani, he is but some of the weapons that we explained in that as well was Shula Tankapasha Dandapani Madikaranam. So Shula, in this case, Bhairav is also carrying a shul. He's carrying a trishul. He's carrying a Tankapasha. Again, Pash comes here as well. He's the one who is carrying a rope. Rope again signifies bondage. You really hold somebody back with the help of a rope. So that's what we are being held by. We are being held by the material bondages that we have, and that's the one that is really stopping us from reaching on the higher goals of life. So Bhairav in this case is also the one who carries a pash, who can deliver us, who can liberate us from the pashas that we see in this material creation. And then Shula Tanka Pasha Danda Pani Madi Karanam. Again, he carries a danda. And in some of the Ashtabhairav forms, again, Bhairav has 64 forms, Bhairav has 52 forms. There are several forms of Bhairav. But if you read some of the Ashtabhairav forms where we talk about Ruru Bhairav, Krodh Bhairav, Unmad Bhairav, Bhishan Bhairav, Sahar Bhairav, all of these different forms of Bhairav, you will come across Asitang Bhairav, you will come across also carrying not just the usual danda and the skull that we normally see in a regular form of Bhairav, but in this case they are also carrying Ankush. Again, similar to Hanuman, Bhairav is the one who can also control your sense organ. Like I explained, the man who is riding a wild elephant, and the elephant is us, and Bhairav is the one who can control your organ, who can control your indriyas, who can draw your indriyas inwards and help you reach the final destination of life, which is nothing but self-realization, or you can say Aham Brahmasmi, or God realization, or Paramatma, whatever it is, whatever you call it. So both Hanuman and Bhairav are not just mere deities for fighting and destroying enemies. I think those are all great. Of course, they will do it anyway. But beyond that, they are the ones. It is not just okay. I have an enemy, Lord Bhairav, just destroy this and just take care of that enemy. No, that's not what it is all about. No, it is not what Hanuman is doing. They do so much more. They take you towards the higher goals of life. I think in what in serving the Lord Shiva. Of course, he destroyed enemies. Of course, he did everything. He destroyed the asuras. He destroyed everything happened. But Hanuman's ultimate to serve at the holy feet of God, to serve at the holy feet of Lord, to take the devotees to the holy feet of Lord, to take Sita to Rama, right? And that is what we should be praying to Hanuman, that, oh Hanumanji, take me to Lord Rama, take me to Lord Sita, right? And that can only happen when they are able to put an ankush on our thoughts, check, control our organs, control our senses, control mind, control our emotions, control our actions. It is only then possible. And then with the help of their Pasha, they're able to liberate us and then take us towards the Paramatma or the Lord Rama. Okay? So both we talked about now. When we talk about, I'll explain 8 forms of Bhairav. Again, when you closely look at some of the forms, they carry so Trishul, Ankush, Pash, all this appear. It also appears in a lot of Devi forms as well. When we read about Ma Kali, when we read about Ma Durga, the 9 Durga forms, you will see that they're also carrying a kamandalu. Here in this case, Hanuman is also carrying a kamandalu. Kamandalu is nothing but a small pot, which could be either carrying a soma, it could be carrying a nectar, a drink of immortality, so that again is a drink, is a pot carrying that drink. And you will find this Hanuman carrying this, as well as sometimes Durga carrying this, and similarities as well. Let's move on to one of a very key thing I wanted to also talk about here was Pretasano Pavishtam Tam Sarva Bharana Bhushitam. In this case, now Hanuman, often we have seen that he's standing, he's in a warrior pose, or he's sitting in a Vajrasan. Normally he's sitting on his knees. It's a yoga, famous yoga pose. It's called Vajrasan. So, but in this case, we are talking about that Hanuman is sitting on a dead body, like it's a preta sanu. He's sitting on a dead prate, or in just in a normal, this is on a dead body. Now, this is a very ugra form of Hanuman and very much a tantric form of Hanuman. And Hanuman is very widely worshipped in the Nath Sampradaya as well, where Bhairav is also very widely worshipped, coming from Matsyendra Nath, right? That whole tradition of Nath Sampradaya. You will definitely see a lot of Hanuman sadhana is done there as well. So Hanuman is definitely seen here in the form of sitting on a pretasan. Now, when we talk about Kal Bhairav, in one of his Ashtabhairav Swarup as well, the Bhishana Bhairav, the Bhishan Bhairav Swarup also, if you uh, read about Bhishan Bhairav as well, he is described as the one who is sitting on a pretasana. His asan is nothing but that of a dead body. So again, both Hanuman as well as Shiva here is a very Ugra Swarup of Hanuman. It is not the usual standing or the sitting pose. It is a very, I would say, a very fearful tantric form of Lord Hanuman. Okay. And then, of course, he's Sushobhit. He's fully, decked in ornaments and beautiful jewelries and everything. Similar to when we talked about Kal Bhairav, we said that he's wearing a beautiful kinkin and golden bells around him and Kinkini Lasatkatim, and then Yagyopavitam with snakes. Very beautiful. If you look at the small Batu Bhairav form of Bhairav, I mean, he's so adorable, like literally like our Laddu Gopal. So, in this case, also, even though Hanuman is sitting on a Pretasan, he's definitely Sarva Bharana Bhushitam. He's very beautiful, very well decked up. So, I want to talk about one important thing about Hanuman here, which is really caught my attention was it explains here Shashanka Shikharam Kapiraja Varyam. Shashanka Shikharam. Shikharam is the head. Shashank, Shashi, it means moon. Now, when we look at, of course, Hanuman is a form of Shiva, and Shiva carries moon. Shiva is always seen carrying what two things on his head: Ma Ganga, water, and moon. Correct. And both offers what? Both offers Shitalta. What is the form of moon? Represents the water element. Moon represents calmness. Moon, when we read our Puranas, during the Samundra Manthan, during the churning of the ocean, moon appeared from that Samundra. Moon was one of the key elements that appeared from the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean. So moon's element is water, and the Lord Shiva carries Ganga as well as moon. And hence you see, in spite of all the Tandav and all the destruction and all the creation, dissolution, everything that he does, Shiva is always in a very nice meditative pose. It's because that he's carrying that Shitalta on his forehead. And it is really something for us to learn as well as that no matter what the situation in life is, no matter what challenges life brings at you, no matter what you go through on a daily basis, no matter what difficulties and what halahal and what poison people throw at you, circumstances throw at you, what people make you do, you should always remain in the Saumya Sheetal state. You should always carry. My Guruji always taught us that be like Shiva, always smiling, Shiva, always meditative, always Shivoham state, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Always in a tranquil, always in a calm state, in spite of everything going on. Shiva sits in Smashan. I mean, you have seen this. Shiva is the one who meditates in Smashan, right? I mean, he has everything burning around it, which really represents our life. Everything could be going haywire. Everything must be turned upside down. I mean, everything going totally out of control. There is so much that one could be dealing with, but if one is always attuned and one is always in tune with the Guru, with the consciousness of Shiva, with Shiva, you will learn to be like Shiva, and you will learn, first of all, to be able to face all challenges in life with utmost conviction and utmost strength. And second is you will always be externally, you will be fighting, and externally, you will be very, of course, ready to take on the challenge, but internally, nothing can really destroy your peace of mind. Internally, you will always remain at peace because, it is really one of the key characteristics and one of the key attributes of Shiva, where he is holding that moon and he's always in that Saumya Sheetal state. So, in this case, Hanumanji is also Shashanka Shikharam. Now, why is moon given so much importance in our astrology? Now, in our Hindu system, at least. Now, moon, like I explained, was emerged from the ocean, was is one of the key navgrahas. In our navgraha system, right? Chandrama is definitely one of the most important planets, and of course, because moon is also to our mind. So normally, when you see, and going a little bit of into astrology, not too deep, but people who have very strong moon on their kundali, on their horoscope, like you will often see that they have very strong mental frame, they have very strong mental strength. They usually are very mentally very strong, versus people who a weak moon in their horoscope. Usually, you will find them a little too emotional. Usually, they give up very easily. Their mental conviction is not very strong. Their mental strength is not very strong. They get stressed very easily. And in fact, in today's Kalyug, no better time than talking about it today's era that we live in is that our mental health is really being talked everywhere in a good way. I think it's great people are talking about it, but it is also alarming to see how many mental issues that we are finding in a lot of young people, in a lot of young adults and young children as well. So, of course, when moon is not very strong, because moon represents your mind, moon represents also your mother, but if moon is not very strong, you will see that those people will definitely have a very wavering emotions. Like usually they will be very happy at one moment, and suddenly they can go into a very dark state, and suddenly they get very stressed, and the next day they are very happy. Like sometimes these people are very unpredictable. It's hard people who have a normal conjunction of moon, they will normally have a very steady state of mind. Of course, we all deal with our own challenges and things in life, but usually people with a weak kind of moon will definitely have a much more unstable, I would say, mental patterns and mental strength. And of course, moon is also, like I explained, it is a water, it represents water. And usually you will see even during full moon day, right? I mean, the ebbs and the flows of ocean is tied to the moon pull, correct? The moon force. So in fact, when we say lunatic, right, it's similar to lunar, the lunar calendar, which represents again moon, right? So moon and mind and moon and mental strength are very closely related. And what I was trying to explain was with the ocean was a lot of people who are mostly lunatic cases or these mental cases, you will see that they have really bad episodes, especially when it's a full moon day. Usually, when the tides are high and when it's normally a full moon day. In fact, there's a lot of people who have these mental cases usually will be more drawn towards suicidal thoughts and tendencies, especially with these phases of moon, especially during the full moon, especially. So again, but we talk about Hanuman carrying the moon. Now, what again it represents? It represents that Hanuman is the one because he's the one who can really control our mind, who can really give us a very strong mind, give us a very strong bent of mind, give us a very, because if your mind is strong, only then you will have good thoughts and good patterns, emotions, and good feelings, right? And when you have good thoughts, only then you can have very good life, because if your thoughts are vicious, if your thoughts are toxic, if your thoughts are wavering, if you're always stressed out, if you're always, a lot of young people I see like in their 20s and teens, like they look like they have nothing left in them. They may have everything, they may be doing very well in studies, but they are always like so sad, and they don't even talk, and they have nothing to talk, and they're always depressed. And so it definitely, I think, what Moon here in case can Hanumanji can offer us is really a very strong composition of mind, a very strong mental structure, a very strong mental frame. Because if you study the life of Hanuman, it is not just that he was very atulit baldhamam hema shalabha deham. It is not that he was just very bal full of vigor and vitality and full of strength. And he was full of hema shalabh. He was like a mountain, like a shell, like a parvat. He was like a big mountain. It is not just all that. I don't think anybody can fight the big battle of Ramayan just based on physical strength. Because if that was the case, then Kumbhakaran and Ravan and a lot of the Asuras were also full of physical strength. So this whole Ramayana was not just built on physical strength, but also a lot of mental competency was very important, which I think only Hanuman possessed. Hanuman exactly knew how to do what, how to pivot in what conditions, how to pivot in what circumstances. So it was not just the play of physical strength and the physical fight and the gada and burning the Lanka. All that is great, but even there he was using his brain and he was using his mind everywhere. You will never find Hanumanji giving up or even having the thought of fear even for a second. Even when he was captured in the Lanka by thousands of asuras around him, like a normal person would have, no matter how strong we are, imagine like, you're very strong, you're very physically very fit, but leave you alone in a forest and then suddenly you start hearing all the lions roaring around you. Even the most powerful in their boots. But here we maybe 1,000 and 2,000 pounds, who knows? But also standing in front of Ravan with the full conviction that I am the Das of Sri Ram, and then he's using his mind and he's using his brain so well that if you want to do something to me, you put fire on my tail. Because he knew with that tail he can definitely destroy the Lanka in a fraction of a second. So all mind, all that resilience that he had with his mental composition, right? That no matter what the circumstances is, right, he still has the ability to be able to destroy the enemies and to be able to really come out of Lanka scot free. Even when he had to cross the Lanka, the ocean, the first time when Jambavant, kind of nudged him to cross the ocean, it was not just the physical strength that, oh, he took one leap and he was able to cross the ocean. That's great. Of course, he had all the physical. I mean, he's Pavan Sut. He is the son of Vayu. He is definitely very powerful. He's definitely very fast, like Pavan. But it is not just he being a Pavan Sut, he was also very, very, he's Gyani Namagraganyam. He's very, very his knowledge is very sharp. He's very, very, very sharp. And even when he went through all the difficulties crossing the ocean, he was using he did not ever waver. He did not ever quiver. He did not ever fear anything. And that's why Anji was successful and was the right person to be the most important character in Ramayana. So more than physical strength, and that's why you see that when somebody doesn't have the mental strength and the mental condition, right? You see a lot of people who are great in sports and who may be great in a lot of these physical kind of activities also end up committing suicide and also end up resorting to substance abuse and other kind of they go into some dark episodes in their life, no matter how good they must be physically or no matter how much strength they have, but they end up making a lot of wrong decisions in their life. They end up uh, destroying their lives in a very harmful way because they do not have that mental strength, that strong strength, that strong foundation, the strong base, which can help them to make good judgment, can help them to regulate their emotions in difficult circumstances. In that case, your physical strength is not going to help, right? You may be a superstar, you may be a super boxer, but if you're still you end up becoming alcoholic, you end up becoming a druggie, you end up becoming sometimes a murderer because you may be physically very strong, but your mental strength is not strong. You're mentally you're not strong. You're not able to make the right decisions. You're not able to manage your own emotions, your own thoughts, right? And that is where we pray to Lord Hanuman that he's the one who carries a moon. So give us Shitalta, um, give us peace, give us calmness in our life, but also give us a good mental strength. I think more than physical strength, everybody has good physical strength. Nowadays everybody is on organic diet, everybody is on juicing, everybody is on intermittent fasting, you name it, and we have it. Everything is so focused on physical health, right? Everything is have the perfect sleep, have the perfect exercise, right? You have a trainer, you have everything now. People have everything at their disposal, but yet they have very little mental exercise and very little mental strength. And it is great to see a lot of box breathing and pranayam and a lot of these meditations and headspace and all these great. I think this is great to do, but I don't think that's the only thing that is going to help. I think beyond that, I mean, you could meditate and all. I think it's great. It helps. There's definitely a lot of benefits, but having a strong mental resolution and a strong mental health is way beyond just going in the gym and working out and lifting dumbbells. I think, yeah, I think, and that's what we are here, right? We are praying to Lord Hanuman that Hanuman, we want to be like you. And you will notice that as you kind of get deep into some of these sadhanas, you will also start absorbing some of the qualities of the divine. So it is not that. As we say that, right, as the child grows, they ultimately start looking like their own parents, or they start talking like their own parents. Like, especially women, we start saying that, oh, as I'm getting older, I feel like I'm becoming like my own mom, right? So, similar in this case, as you start deepening your sadhana practices towards your isht, you will notice that some of your isht qualities are also coming to you, and you are imbibing those qualities yourself. So, I think so. Here I wanted to talk about this, and so here was the importance of moon. And now when we talk about Bhairav, also we say that Vyalayagya Sutramendu Shekharam Kripakaram. He's also the one carrying Shekhar. He's also the one carrying moon. So again, Bhairav also provides that calmness, that peace. Bhairav also provides us that mental resolution and that mental strength and mental character that is very important in today's Kali Yuga, more than a physical character. I think everyone is very focused on physical strength, but beyond that, what we also need to focus on is mental strength, because we really need to. I do think there's definitely a gap in today's society, and not much is being done to improve the mental health of people. Moving on, so a few things again. We talk about Hanuman, right? Of course, he's Ashta Siddhi. He's Jnana Gun Sagar. He is the one who can give us all the Ashta Siddhis. And then Bhairav also is Ashta Siddhi Dayakam Kapala Malikadaram. So Hanumanji, when you read Hanuman Chalisa, we say that Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi Ke Data. He's the one who gives us Ashta Siddhi, and Bhairav also gives us Ashta Siddhi. So whether you're praying to Lord Hanuman or whether you're praying to Lord Bhairav, both are fully capable of giving us all forms of Siddhi that you may aspire for. And of course, Jnana Mukti, Hanuman is Jnana Gun Sagar. He name it, and he has that knowledge, whether it's the knowledge of fighting your enemies, whether it's the knowledge of crossing a ocean, whether it's that little knowledge of. He was I explained, like he was very sharp. It was not just he did everything based on his arms and his shoulders and his strength. Everywhere he applied that knowledge, that and of course, why not? I mean, he learned everything from Surya, who is the king of planet, right? And Surya also represents light. Surya represents knowledge. So of course, Hanuman had to have all the knowledge in the world. Um, so he's Jnana Gun Sagar. He is the Sagar. He is the ocean of knowledge. If you want any kind of knowledge, you pray to Lord Hanuman. And of course, our Kal Bhairav is Jnana Mukti Sadhanam. He's the one who gives you Jnana as well as Mukti. He gives you knowledge so you may attain liberation and Mukti. So both, whether you worship Hanuman or whether you worship Bhairav, both are fully capable of giving you all that knowledge, that real knowledge that one should really aspire for, that will really take us to the higher goals and the final destination of life, which is self-realization. So here I'll end today's discussion. I think this one went a little longer, and going forward, there is much more. I want to talk about Kal Bhairav Hanuman, also talk about Baglamukhi and Mahakali in the next few series. So definitely look forward to that. So for now, I think we'll definitely call it a day, and I'll see you soon. Okay, all right. Jai Gurudev, Om Param Tattvaya Naranaya Gurubhyo Namaha.